Yes, sir. Atlanta Falcon fans, where are you at? Y'all need to take roll or something because we are lit this Tuesday morning, okay? The Atlanta Falcons made a major statement last night versus the Buffalo Bills, defeating the Bills on Monday Night Football 24-14, and I'm happy to say right now, it's Atlanta versus everybody, okay? Since the Atlanta Falcons have lost to the Carolina Panthers 30-0, 2 games straight, the Atlanta Falcons have definitely dominated on all sides of the ball. And as you can see, I'm in my bag right now. I got my do-rag on. Shouts out to Michael Penix. Of course, I got my shades on. Shouts out to Coach Prime. Of course, you know, Atlanta Falcon great. But man, oh man, I am just excited from what I saw. Not for the simple fact that the Atlanta Falcons won, but the simple fact that they dominated versus a team that was expected to come into Atlanta and take over and get a win, an easy win on Monday Night Football. But that was not the case. The Atlanta Falcons definitely dominated, and they did their job because of 3 guys: Bijan Robinson, Michael Penix Jr., and of course, Drake London. And we are going to dive into all of that, plus the highlights. What's going on, everybody? My name is Walter Pollard. This is AlphaMale Sports. He is I am him, I am he that they call the Alpha Male. Let me go ahead and take these off real quick because I am super geek, super excited from just what I saw. Again, man, these Atlanta Falcons were nothing to play with last night. Again, winning on all sides of the ball. And I had to point something out really quickly before I dive into just the stats, the overall game, the highlights, you know, the game balls I want to give out today, because I got 3 of them that I got to give out. And actually 1 extra one. I got 4 of them that I want to give out. But first of all, look at this, guys. The Atlanta Falcon fan base, we are yearning. We are hoping. We want a reason to party. We want a reason to celebrate our team. Okay, I was talking to my wife, you know, a couple weeks ago, and she pointed out that when we're losing, it's bad. The fans don't show up. You know what I'm saying? It looks like it's more of the opposing team than the actual Falcon fan base when we're losing. As a matter of fact, last night, again, it was expected for the Buffalo Bills to come in and dominate the Atlanta Falcons. As a matter of fact, it seemed like it was a Buffalo Bills game. If you were watching last night on ESPN, it just sounded as if it was a bunch of Buffalo Bills fans in Atlanta, because when the Buffalo Bills would score, they would cheer. You would clearly hear it, almost as if the Atlanta Falcon fans were cheering for the Buffalo Bills. But that was not the case in the end of it all. I mean, at the end, you heard the Falcon fans going into the final minutes of the 4th quarter, chanting, you know, the Archie Eversole famous song, "We ready, we ready." Yeah, you heard that going into the final minutes of the game. So, of course, the Atlanta Falcons definitely were beating their chest because, again, this was not an expected thing. Honestly, and I have to be honest, I didn't even expect for it to be this good. I felt as though this was going to be a close game, probably a one-score, like a one-touchdown thing, a one-score game. But clearly, 10 points, a 10-point game, 2 scores. The Atlanta Falcons got a major win versus a team that is supposed to be a Super Bowl contending team, okay? They are supposed to be a Super Bowl contending team. When you look at the AFC landscape right now, the Chiefs are barely holding on to what they can, muster up to be a decent season. As a matter of fact, they're number 3 in their division. You know what I mean? Buffalo was at one point leading the division, except after tonight losing to the Falcons, that dropped them down to number 2 underneath the Patriots. So it's something that it was pointed out to me that this is almost as if things are starting to level out. Okay, this is a long season. It's only 5 weeks in, or 6 weeks in. You know, the Buffalo Bills are 4-2. You know, teams are starting to level out. You know, yes, Green Bay, they even tied up with the Dallas Cowboys at one point in time, but now they're leading their division. You know, the Eagles, they failed 2 games in a row. Different teams are starting to level out. You know, the Chiefs, they fell to the Jacksonville Jaguars last week on Monday Night Football. So as you can see, things are starting to level out. Teams are starting to find their footing. The Falcons, again, after losing to Carolina 30-0, they've had 2 games of 20 or more points, and they have dominated both of those games versus the Washington Commanders and the Buffalo Bills. Now, of course, we have got to dive into all of it, especially the players that I want to highlight that definitely made a major statement on offense and showed themselves going into last night's game. As a matter of fact, also, too, give a major shout out to the defense. Give a major shout out to the defense, posting 4 sacks on Josh Allen, 2 interceptions on Josh Allen, 1 to close out the game. Again, Josh Allen is considered to be an MVP quarterback this year. He's considered to be an MVP quarterback this year. The 3 that I know for a fact after watching so far this season that was considered this year to be MVP quarterbacks: Baker Mayfield, Dak Prescott, and of course Josh Allen for the Buffalo Bills. Now, of course, you'll be wondering why Dak Prescott. Well, of course, because Dak Prescott, he is leading the #1 offense in the NFC, just have a terrible defense. That's why they suck so bad. But Josh Allen is or was expected to be an MVP quarterback, but last night the Atlanta Falcons made him look otherwise. You know what I'm saying? So definitely super excited for that. Now let's dive right into it. Of course, the very first drive that the Atlanta Falcons had, they drove down the field. As you can see, Tyler Algier right there dominating, the line of scrimmage, running over the defender into the end zone. As a matter of fact, watch it again, because you see towards the end of that run, he was looking for the contact. He saw the guy, ran him over, and finished off strong in the end zone. Tyler Algier finished the night's game with 10 carries, 32 yards rushing, 1 touchdown. 21 yards was his longest run. Of course, that was what you saw there in the first quarter. So definitely Tyler Algier definitely has done a good job. And again, before I go any further, I want to point out that this is what I was talking about. When you have a Ferrari, you use it. When you have a Ferrari, you run that thing like it is no business. You run it till the wheels fall off. And that is what the Atlanta Falcons did last night. Going into the next highlight that I had to point out, one of the first guys that I want to point out as far as game balls is concerned goes to my man Drake London. He had a night. 10 receptions, 158 yards, and 1 touchdown. His longest reception was 39 yards long. I mean, after 2 weeks, especially going into the Carolina game, a lot of people were kind of questioning, scratching their heads like, well, what's going on? We're not getting the ball to Drake London. He's our #1 go-to receiver. What's happening? What's going on? But again, with 2 receivers going out last night, you got a full dosage of Drake London versus the Buffalo Bills defense. And the Buffalo Bills defense isn't anything to scoff at. This isn't anything to just look at like, that's no big deal. We understand what we got. No, the Buffalo Bills defense is a very tough defense. But again, the Atlanta Falcons, along with Michael Penix Jr., definitely showed out versus that defense. Now, going over Michael Penix's stats, 20 for 32, 250 yards passing. His average pass per attempt was about 7.8 yards per attempt. 1 touchdown, no interceptions. He was sacked twice, but he had a 97.1 QBR. That is awesome. Shouts out to my man Michael Penix Jr. Again, just quieting the naysayers, shutting down what people might think they know about Michael Penix, saying that he's young, he's still, wet behind the ears. I mean, the guy has shown that he can be poised. He can deliver the ball very quickly in the pocket. He can stand in the pocket. He's a pocket quarterback. He is a pocket quarterback who can run. So let's get that first and foremost straightened out. Now, the next clip that I definitely got to go to not that one, but yes, that one, was Bijan Robinson. Of course, last night, 19 carries, 170 yards rushing, 1 touchdown. His longest rushing touchdown of rushing attempt last night was the 81-yard run that he had versus the Buffalo Bills that seemingly in the first quarter put the game out of reach. It seemingly put the game out of reach. And this was in the first half. I think second half, the Falcons definitely could have made more points, but of course there were some things that happened. I think Buffalo made some adjustments. As you can see, that's where the Buffalo Bills got those 2 sacks on Michael Penix Jr. But again, I can even show y'all another clip. I think you guys kind of saw it, the overhead viewpoint. I mean, look at how it slowed down, and the guy had Bijan Robinson. And Bijan Robinson, with a low center of gravity, heavy base, runs right over the guy, finished the run. I mean, impressive. It seemingly put the game away. Again, 19 carries, 170 yards total, 1 touchdown, big run, big play by Bijan Robinson. And again, not only that, 6 receptions, 68 yards receiving, 11 yards per reception. His longest receiving, I guess, attempt was about 23 yards. I mean, again, this guy, we have a gem in Bijan Robinson. I would not be surprised when it is time to re-up on his salary or re-up on his contract. The Falcons wouldn't think twice into reestablishing what they got in this young man. But also, too, next clip. This was going into the half, okay? If it wasn't for his right foot tapping out of bounds, we would have had another touchdown, and this would have definitely put the game so far out of reach that it would seem like Buffalo just wouldn't have a chance going into the second half. As you can see right there, that's your MVP. That's your king right there, NFL, okay? That's your king right there. Josh Allen just looking confused and perplexed as to how in the hell are the Atlanta Falcons doing this to the Buffalo Bills. Again, they are expected to go to the Super Bowl and win it. Okay, with the Chiefs seeming to be out of the way, the Buffalo Bills, this is their opportunity. But like I say all the time, I feel as though they are a cursed football team. Argue with your mama, but I feel as though after you lose 4 straight Super Bowls in the 90s, and then time after time after time again, as a matter of fact, Patrick Mahomes beat the Buffalo Bills in the AFC Championship with 13 seconds left on the clock. Yes, those Buffalo Bills are expected to win this Super Bowl this year. Nah, not on my watch. And again, the Atlanta Falcons defense, they're no shab or nothing to scoff at either. Really quickly, I think, I got one more clip. No, actually, I don't. That was all the clips. That was just the offensive production by the Atlanta Falcons. Again, man, Drake London could have had 2 touchdowns easy. If he didn't have those doggone shoes tap out of bounds, he probably would have definitely had 2 touchdowns easy. But I mean, just all of the quarterback hits. We had about 6 total quarterback hits. We had 3 sacks, or was it 2? I think it was 2 or 3. Let me check and see real quick. 4 sacks. Let me be clear. 4 sacks, 2 interceptions, and again, 1 to close out the game. But again, you tell me how you guys feel about that win. That was a win that, I mean, just put it completely out of reach, and I am super geeked, okay? And the Falcon fan base, they're geeked as well. This was last night, around, 11 o'clock or something like that? They were happy. We were happy, and we need a reason. Now, the next game, of course, is versus the San Francisco 49ers in California. They're going to be going to San Francisco. They're going to be taking on the 49ers at 8:20 on Sunday. So, again, another primetime game. And, yes, the Falcons so far this season are undefeated in primetime games. Okay? They went up to the Vikings and dominated in Minnesota. On Monday Night Football, again, turning around, coming to Atlanta, beating the Buffalo Bills on Monday Night Football. And then again, going to San Francisco and taking on the 49ers, who are extremely depleted. Their linebackers now is out of the out for the season as well. Listen, this is a prime opportunity for the Atlanta Falcons to gain some confidence. Coming off of the bye last week, this was definitely a statement game versus the Buffalo Bills. They have an opportunity to develop some more confidence and possibly make more of a statement this season, and hopefully can make a name for themselves in the playoffs. My name is Walter Pollard. This is AlphaMale Sports. Hey, man, I'm signing out. Peace.